abrupt end. With nothing but a broken heart and insulting lyrics to show for her time with the band, Cass thought about moving on. With the success of her solo recording of Dream a Little Dream of Me, Cass left the Mamas and the Papas and struck out on her own. Shortly after the band's breakup, she landed a major gig at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. It was a 3-week, 6-figure deal that would have made Cass the breakout star from the broken up band. Now a solo act, Cass felt the pressure to slim down more intensely than ever before. To prepare for her big Las Vegas debut, she adopted a crazy crash diet. She fasted for 4 days a week for 7 months and lost 1/3 of her 300 pounds. Unfortunately for her, the consequences were painful. The diet slimmed her down significantly, but in a cruel twist it came at a terrible price: her health. In the weeks leading up to her first Las Vegas show, Cass developed acute tonsillitis, hemorrhaging vocal cords, mononucleosis, and a dangerous case of hepatitis, all thanks to her dangerous new eating habits. She was ill prepared for what came next. Massive stars like Sammy Davis Jr., Jimi Hendrix and Mia Farrow turned up in Las Vegas to watch Cass's big debut. But thanks to her health conditions prior to the show, she had barely even rehearsed a single lyric. When Cass finally took to the stage for her first performance, she left the audience gobsmacked. The star-studded crowd eagerly awaited her debut as a solo artist. Nervously, Cass took to the stage, then fumbled her way through the performance. She was so weak from her illnesses that her voice was barely audible. Cass's contract stipulated that she would perform 2 shows a night. After a quick rest, she tried to salvage the show with her second performance, but her voice only got worse, and the crowd only got less sympathetic. The disappointed audience noisily walked out, and Caesars Palace had no choice but to cancel Cass's contract. Then they added insult to injury. When the sun rose on her awful performances, the media was unforgiving. Newsweek compared Cass's Vegas debut to the sinking of the Titanic. She fell into a deep depression, but thankfully she had one bright spot in her life. Just before she signed her Las Vegas contract, Cass had given birth to a healthy baby girl, Owen. Despite the troubles in her love life and career, Cass was obsessed with being a good mother. She guarded her daughter fiercely, even firing nannies who grew too close. To protect her reputation and her child's privacy, she kept the news out of the headlines. More importantly, when the media found out about her child, Cass staunchly refused to identify the father. That didn't stop the media from speculating wildly. However, there were even darker rumours that followed Cass. Throughout her career, Cass hosted legendary Hollywood parties with all of the biggest stars, not to mention some terrible ones as well. Legend has it that Cass had hosted on at least one occasion the notorious and noxious cult leader Charles Manson and his associates at her house. It's not clear how close she was to Manson, but she was close enough to make some people look at her differently. After Manson's horrific and brutal massacre, John Phillips pointed the finger at Cass. He blamed her for having invited Manson and his followers into their group. He even blamed Cass for the grisly slaughter that ended Sharon Tate's life. Thankfully, the authorities didn't agree with Phillips' assessment. With her Las Vegas flop, Cass's solo career stalled, but she spent the next few years making regular television appearances. She even had her own television variety specials, the Mama Cass television program, and Don't Call Me Mama Anymore.